as much as I was supportive of this project, as much as I was supportive of the fact that I thought we could do something good for the citizens and for the younger folks of Talbot County, at this time in our fiscal situation that we're in, asking for another $1 million was just not something I was willing to do.
But at some point, we have to do something for our youth.
Yes.
We got to find ways to find the money, because we always seem to put it on the back burner, but then we have issues with when they act out because there's just nothing there for them. I understand where you're coming from, but I think at some point we as the adults, we have to start putting the youth on as on the front burner. What do you
let me say, Walter, I agree with you. And I am a strong proponent of our youth and anti-substance abuse activities. What this particular project that was designed for the community center, it would have been a project that would have brought a multitude of indoor sports inside that arena, from basketball to lacrosse to soccer and so forth. We can still do that and be engaged with our youth. I just met with Gary Pierce from Talbot Partnership on yesterday, and this is one of the questions that he posed to me as well. As far as what we need to do to impact our youth here in Talbot County. If you don't know, Talbot County has the highest substance abuse of adolescents in the state of Maryland. Did you know that?
I didn't know until last year when you gave me the show and you mentioned that. Yeah.
So for a county of our size, some about 35, maybe 36,000 people here in Talbot County, we have more substance abuse by average than any other county in the state of Maryland, and that's something to give you pause.
It's not acceptable.
It is not. And so, working with Gary Pierce and Talbot Partnership, working along with Robbie Gill over at the YMCA. We have a lot of committed people here in Talbot County.
Good.
Resources at this juncture may be limited and may be somewhat constrained, but I believe we have enough persons like you gentlemen here that are willing to go that extra step and to say, what can I do? What can I do? And sometimes it's not a question of just physical money. It's just volunteer time.
Human capital.
There you go.
Yeah. Human capital.
Am I willing to go to work from 8 to 5 and then spend 2 more hours on that?
Some kids that are not mine.
That's right. And go coach a team, or go be supportive of a youth activity. I was down in D.C. last year with a good friend of mine, Joe Brown, over in Caroline County Parks and Recs, and we went down to the Black Caucus Youth Summit. And when we were down there, a statistic that came out of that summit was that our African American youth, when it comes to mentoring, men of our ilk, we are number 4 when it comes to mentoring our own. So and that was very alarming to me. So and that doesn't require any money, but it does require that physical capital, that time, right? And so for
three black men, I think it has to be us. Someone has to put the pressure on those black men that we know, in our community, in our families. It starts at home. They have to take care of your own first before you go out and take care of others. And as we know, as black men, it's just not the way it should be. And it takes those like us and others. There's several others out there that are making it happen, that are doing it for their families, and is doing it for others like yourself and Walt as well. So I think we need to put pressure on them to say, hey, it's time to step up, because President Obama can't do everything.
You're absolutely right with that, Dondre. It does start at home.
In a lot of cases, men have grown up without someone there to teach them how to be a man. And so I'm so happy that with your groups, because that's where your group comes in. So all the time, it isn't, the guy doesn't wake up saying, I want to be a bad father. I want to, not do things for my kids. Sometimes he just don't know how to.
Absolutely. And that's why you have to engage them. Remember, growing is a lifetime experience. It doesn't stop just because you're 18 or just because you're 25 or just because you're 30. Even when we look around our church, you see a lot of elderly mothers there, but you may not see many elderly fathers. We hear the term "Big Mama's house," but where's Papa Joe? And that's the thing, that person, that segment of our family is missing.
It's a void.
And you need that. You need that young father raising an adolescent boy to become a teenager. Right. You need that middle-aged father consulting that young man when he goes out and buy his first home. You need that maybe that senior father talking to that man who's about to go into a life change. Right. You know, he doesn't have the energy he once had. Things aren't as vigorous as, you know what I'm saying? Right, and so he may want to go talk to that senior man who's already gone down that road. That segment of our community is missing when we talk about black family. And that's the point that I want to try to reach into and galvanize. Stay there for the long haul. I tell the fathers that I come in contact with, I'm not expecting you to be perfect, but I am expecting you to be there.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk about voter apathy and regenerating.
Midterm elections, you normally traditionally see a decrease in your voting numbers in your midterm elections. That's just a traditional trend. Your presidential elections, you're right, generally you'll see an increase in your voters statewide and nationally. I think this year you're probably going to see more of a change when you talk about your senators and your congressional seats. There are a lot of congressional seats I think that are at play on this election. There may be several senatorial seats that are at play. So this is a very important election for the nation because it's going to shape how we look going into that presidential election in 2012.
What can we do to get our kids to understand that really it's not an option to vote? You have to do it because someone died for you to have the privilege to be able to do it. What can we do to get that back on, again, the front burner? Because it seems the value of a vote has taken a major step back.
Well, I think the words we use in our home with our children around voting and what they see us do when it comes to voting, us being involved.
Good point.
Even from the local process, whether you're voting for your local PTA membership, you're voting for a judgeship, you're voting for an elected school board member in your district that you sit in, become involved in the process. Bring home literature. Let them see you reading the literature. Let them hear you have a discussion about the candidate. Get them involved in the discussion. You know, ask them about the difference between candidate A and candidate B. You know, perhaps even promote them to run for elected office within their own school, run for class president or run for class treasurer. I think it's a system that you have to get ingrained in the family unit and ingrained in our young people to realize that voting is very, very important. There were a number of votes traditionally, if you look across the spectrum, that were based or that were decided on less than 100 votes. The last gubernatorial race was about 100,000 votes separated Mr. Ehrlich and our current governor.